Welcome learners to this 8-week MOOC on reading and reflecting on text. We are into module 1 and the topic for this audio-visual presentation is difference between reading and literacy. By now we are very much into the understanding of the concept of literacy and also how thinking, self-esteem and literacy plays a pivotal role in reading and reflecting on text. To carry this journey a little forward, this presentation will focus on where lies the differences or fine-tuning between the reading and literacy concept. So for that we need to know what is reading. As the slide reads, this definition is given in 1985. The BNR authors, they define it as the process of constructing meaning from written text and noted that it is a complex skill requiring the coordination of a number of interrelated sources of information. So this is reading. Now what is literacy? Though we have already gone through the basic understanding of literacy, let us recapitulate it once again. It is a process of using reading, writing and oral language to extract, construct, integrate and critique meaning through interaction and involvement with multimodal texts in the context of socially situated practices. Now the concept of literacy has the meaning of literacy as reading, writing, arithmetic, whereas in functional literacy it was a little more than that. And now here we find literacy takes a wide angle. It is included here as the involvement with multimodal text in the context of socially situated practices. Now let us see what are the principles of reading. There are 5 principles which actually guide its successful enactment. What were these? Reading is a constructive process, must be fluent, must be strategic. It requires motivation. And of course, it is a continuously developing skill. It's not a static one. So these 5 principles actually guide successful reading. On the flip side, what are the principles of literacy? Literacy is a constructive, integrative and critical process situated in social practices. Fluent reading is shaped by language processes and contexts. It is strategic and disciplinary. It also entails motivation and engagement. It is also a continuously developing set of practices. So we are now in a position to weigh and compare between reading and literacy with the help of the meaning, definition and the principles discussed so far. Now let us come to reading versus literacy. How can we see this? Well, the word reading is used in the sense of interpretation. And this is basically the reason why a reader in a college or a university is an educator who interprets text with ease. On the other hand, the word literacy is often used in the sense of ability to read and write. So a person who has a little bit of education is also literate, and a person who has acquired degrees and diplomas, have undergone the highest degree in the higher education scenario, is also literate. So this is where we can differentiate between reading and literacy. Now going deeper into it. Proficiency of reading, it subsumes two most important things. The first one is decoding skills that enable children to read a text, meaning making or comprehension skills that enable children to understand, engage and get involved with a piece of text. As it is the basic one, the very basic thing a child when enters into a formal education system or even in the informal environment when the child is exposed to education, first thing is recognizing, identifying through books, through text. Now at this point of digital society, through viewing, visuals. So there is a meaning making process involved, followed by comprehension. Now these skills actually shape the reading skills. Now literacy on the other hand is the ability to access, assimilate and analyze information. It helps students express thought with precision, present ideas and opinions clearly and interact actively. It is more formalized in nature. Literacy does not mean teaching children to read. Every voracious reader is literate, as one needs to know how to read in order to read avidly. So now we can find the relationship between reading and literacy. We were trying to compartmentalize them into two different sections, but now we are getting the notion that there is a relationship between reading and literacy. However, not every literate person may love reading. Here comes the conjecture. Literacy is essential for every citizen to contribute as an informed voter, qualify for jobs, and read necessary information. A few minutes back, I used a word that literacy is mostly associated with formal system. It is more formalized in nature. Now comes reading for leisure. On the other hand, broadens one's perspective, allows children to dream and opens a world of possibilities for them. It does not require any syllabus, 4 walls. It doesn't require anything. It can happen anytime. By fostering the love for reading in children, parents and educators equip them to explore the world with a wider mindset and prepare them for the unknown. Students who are proficient readers and have reading-friendly environments at home, as measured by their performance on various reading tests, are more likely to perform better than their peers. This goes without saying. Now there is a quick read. Again read. Of what? Between reading and literacy. As we all accept that reading is an essential part of literacy, yet from a historical perspective, literacy is about having the ability to read and write. Now this table distinctly puts reading and literacy into 2 different columns. And these columns have 3 rows which are described in tandem to each other. Reading is the process of interpreting written language. The ability to read and write is literacy. The process of interpreting a symbol, a sign or measuring device is reading, whereas understanding of something, example, we all know computer literacy is another term which is much vogue today, which is in vogue today. Reading is the process of taking in the sense or meaning of letters, symbols, etc., especially by sight or touch, whilst literacy in its broadest sense describes particular ways of thinking about and doing reading and writing, because it is the ability to read and write. So this is how we can connect, reconnect. At some places we find there is a strong influence between reading and literacy. However, we are not in the proposition of putting them separately into two compartments. This can be a continuum. One influences the other, although it is context specific. However, reading is free. It doesn't require any formalization. It does not depend upon age. Whereas literacy is construed mostly in formal settings. Thank you.